discussing. Alright, so it's about a week later since the last clip that you saw, and look what came in. Oh yeah. So this is the first time I have seen it. So I ordered this radiator through BJ's Off-Road, and it is for a 79 Cherokee with a 5.3. Perfect. Look at that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get it mocked up in the Jeep. All right. Sweet. So it lines up perfect with the holes that are on the front clip. All four line up, and there's obviously many different options, so I'm actually going to have to put this in to see what kind of clearance, so see if I need to come up or down. But it's usually rare that parts that say they'll actually fit so I'm pretty excited about that. So I got the inner fenders out of the way. I'm going to try to install the radiator this way just to kind of see exactly where I need to line my bolts in. I've still got it loose, and I've got my old bushings and my old bolt right here, and I just got the nut just barely threaded on. Alright, so I got the radiator mocked in. I am still working on getting a fan shroud, but I got to make sure that I get the right one. And the bolts that I'm using, of course, is just for mock-up. But man, does that look good with a radiator in it. I've never been so excited about a radiator. I've never paid this much for a radiator either. So I have the radiator as low as it will go on the settings, the holes here. And it looks like it's about right, because I don't want it any higher. Well, worst case scenario, I could drill these out to bring it down just a little bit. And of course, it is going to come down once I tighten these up right here. So I feel like it's at a good setting. You know, it clears everything. Got the upper radiator hose on, and that's the part number that I'm using. I believe I'm gonna have to trim it down a little bit, because this is, I believe it has to come back anyway. But it's definitely a start, so I'll probably have to cut an inch off here and maybe an inch off back there, because I still have to make room for my air cleaner whenever it's time to get one of those. And then my lower, I believe I'm going to have to order another one of these to get it to fit here. But it's definitely a start. I am going to do before I install that steering shaft is replace this steering box. This is the factory one. It's got that crappy rag joint. My plan right now is to run this Durango steering box that I had on my Comanche. Of course, I updated it with the PSC steering box already drilled and tapped for hydro assist. But the internet says this one will bolt right up. The only major difference is this is a 4-bolt steering box. It's got 2 bolts down there. And this one is a 3-bolt. I know a lot of people say you're not supposed to run a 3-bolt on a 4-bolt frame. So my plan is to either get a brace that runs from, you know, the frame to the box to help support it. But we're going to try it. One very important thing whenever you're taking off heavy items such as steering boxes is to make sure that you have the proper footwear. Hammer. So here it is, the Durango box bolted right in. Like I said, the only thing is there's no place to put that bolt because it's a 3-bolt power steering box. But the factory bolts went right in. No issues there. So now I'll just have to wait for the steering shaft to come in. The new steering shaft came in from BJ's Off-Road, and this thing is awesome. It is definitely going to be a huge upgrade from the one that came in it. You can see here the obvious differences. I also have my steering box here to kind of show you. So obviously we're getting rid of this rag joint right here. I mean, just look at that. Disgusting. So we're going all to U-joints and splines. So obviously on the Durango steering box, it's got the spline, and you want to make sure that the flat surface here is in line with the flat surface here. Well, this actually is a notch. So how we'll be doing this is it has a couple of set screws with Allen keys, and we'll get it in. And I did clean this up too. It was kind of rusty and crusty, so I cleaned up the rust and cleaned it up real good, and then sprayed it with some WD-40. Back this out a little bit because you definitely want this to be tight, and looks like it's seating very well. And then I'll be tightening it up with a 1/2-inch wrench. There we go. Then I'll pull it all the way out where it lines up with this, and you may have to do some adjustments here. Look at that. Sick. Man, that is cool. So I'll go ahead and probably have to back that out just a little bit. That way there's a little area on the steering box where it likes to sit. Put some Loctite on it and tighten up the rest of these with some Loctite, and we'll be good. The power steering line off of the 5.3 goes right into this Durango steering box. How cool is that? I'll be putting everything back: the brake booster, the master cylinder, the proportioning valve, and hooking up my brake lines. And I'll probably go ahead and put this inner fender on also. That way I'll be 100% sure that everything will clear now that the actual steering shaft is in. So you don't want to forget the spacers for the bracket for the proportioning valve. Oh yeah. Look at that. Like I said, they do still need some tweaking, but like this right here, I'm probably gonna end up redoing this one just to make the curl just a little neater. Final-ish product right here. So I did put the fender on. I did put the front clip on with the radiator, and then I threw the grill on just for fun. So getting closer. The next video on this will probably be a fan shroud setup. I'm still unsure exactly what I'll be running. More than likely an electric fan. Probably getting rid of the mechanical fan, because the Holley system here, it actually has wiring for a fan already, so probably go that route. Something else that I thought was pretty cool. So I took the same hose, the 71659, and I got another one and put it down here, but it was all kinked up and not happy. So what I did is I kept taking, you know, 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch off until I got it close, but it was still pinched. So what I did was I started heating it up with a heat gun, and I put a hose clamp around it and just kept heating it up real slow and moving the hose clamp all around, and it made it to where the antifreeze will flow very smoothly. So if you ever have a situation where you're running, you know, custom hoses, not custom hoses, but you know, hoses from other vehicles on your vehicle that's not intended for your vehicle, that's what you can do. Just slowly heat it up. Thought that was pretty cool. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up this part 2 of the front end accessories. But I appreciate y'all watching, and we will check you on the next one.